From the headquarters of the Guild of Champions, this is the Becoming Thin podcast, and I am your host, Chris Terrell, and welcome to another week of your weight loss quest. How did this last week go for you, champion? What new challenges did you encounter? But more importantly, what failure did you go through, and what lesson did you go and get from that failure? Come on now, don't let a perfectly good failure go by without you getting your lesson. That's your reward for your troubles, after all. Now, if you're new here, I've lost 125 pounds myself after an entire adulthood of chronic yo-yo dieting. Up, down, again, then back up, before I finally got sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I made some permanent, meaningful, and actual changes to my lifestyle, habits, routines, environment, community, and to my systems of belief. Because it's all of those things that created me, and it's all of those things that create you too. And if you want to get results that last and stick forever, you can't just go on a diet. No. You got to go change all 6 of those things in some way. I'm telling you, I've done it. I've lost the weight. When I look at my life now and I look at my habits, my lifestyle, my routines, they do not match what I used to do over 6 years ago, for decades. If you look at my environment, it does not match the environment that I lived in for decades. If you look at my community, I do not have the same community. I don't interact with my community the same as I used to for many decades. And of course, my belief systems, the way I look at myself, the way I look at the world, what I accept to be true, what I think to be false, that has also changed as well. And I changed these things to be in alignment with what I want, with the kind of person I want to be, with the life I want to live, and the body that I want to do it in. And you can do this too. You can do this. You can change. You can live the life you want to live in the body you want to live. But not without doing the work, not without actually making some changes to your life. You cannot just go on a diet and expect this to stick forever if you have been struggling with weight the majority of your life. It's not going to work. For many of you, you actually know that. You've been trying it for decades and it doesn't work. So it is always my hopes here with this podcast that I can help you take one more step further, get just a little further in your journey. Because this is a long journey. It takes time, and it's an infinite game. It goes on and on and on, and you need support and encouragement, and that's where your community can play such a vital role in that. And so as a part of the community, you're going to have to look at the people that are in it and look at the people that are maybe should not be in it. And you should know what those are. And one of the things you need in your life is you need supportive people. You need encouraging people. So many of us, we try to lose weight by going and getting an accountability buddy. If that were to solve obesity, it would have worked by now. Lots of people have been trying it, and it usually doesn't work for lots of reasons that we won't get into today. The punchline is this. You don't need an accountability partner. You need an encouragement partner. You need people that will remind you of your goal when you're thinking about quitting. You need people that will help remind you how great and powerful and capable you are when you might have lost a little faith in you. You need people that are going to celebrate with you on the little wins and get just as excited as you are because they understand how the little win is actually really big. It's a big deal. I couldn't have got through my journey without my OSPs. It's an acronym I use. It stands for Only Supportive People. You could not. You can't, I couldn't, I needed them. I always tried to lose weight with accountability partners. That's not a supportive person. That person's struggling just as much as I am. They need a supportive partner too. And so I created the Guild of Champions so that you could always find access to supportive people in addition to getting the knowledge that you need to make weight loss happen quick. And when I say quick, I mean like 2 or 3 years. Like, we don't believe in the fast, rapid crash diet thing. No. We have to change the timetable. Quick means time. Now, with that, why I'm telling you about the Guild is I'm actually in Atlanta this week with a bunch of members of the Guild. We are here to run a Tough Mudder together. Now, many of you listening are like, well, I don't want any part of that. I assure you, many people here don't necessarily want any part of it either. The whole point is to challenge ourselves. It's to do something hard. And we do the 5K, we do it together. And I coach you through it or walk alongside you. And in fact, many people, they just walk it. They don't even do the obstacles because they're not at a place yet where they're physically capable of it. And one of the coolest things about Guild events is I was here last year with some people, and I'm going to get to see them this year and see which obstacles they can do. I get to watch them. I saw you last year, and this year I get to see how much weight you've lost. I get to go see the results of the hard work that you have been putting in since we were here last year. And this is one of the coolest things about this Guild is we actually meet each other in person. And there's something about meeting each other in person on a weight loss journey that's so important. And so tomorrow we're all going to go run a Tough Mudder. I got a keynote thing tonight that I'm delivering to everybody. And then tomorrow we do a whole community thing after, and it's super fun. And I'm just so excited to be here. But as many of you, if you're a longtime podcast listener, you've learned when I travel, sometimes the podcast gets a little interesting. And this week is no difference. There's no exception to that. So what I've got for you today is something real special. I'm about to switch over to it in a second. Now, first, the audio quality is not the best. Normally, I record in my studio. Right now, I'm actually recording this in the hotel room in Atlanta. And wow, this is a very echoey room, so I hope it's coming through okay. But I'm about to switch over to a recording I did with the new members of the Guild. When you join the Guild, I put you in a small group with just you and a few other seasoned Guild members and myself. And we help get your sea legs about you because it's vital that you have the right mindsets, principles, and philosophies at the onset of your weight loss journey. Now, many of you are already on it. You joined the Guild. Well, we're just getting you caught up. We're getting you where you need to go. And there's a lot of mechanics. There's a lot of tactics that you need to learn along your journey. There's many different places and ways that you can learn it. But this session that I'm going to share with you now was for new members, and it was all about principles and philosophies and looking at the weight loss journey and recontextualizing it, helping you place your focus in the right places and helping you see where you need to let go of some other things. And this is my gift to you. I hope you enjoyed this. I think this has some incredibly powerful concepts that I used to help go on to lose 125 pounds. So for those of you in the beginning of the journey, this is really, really, really definitely for you. Those of you that are further along in the journey and longtime listeners of the podcast, some of this may be new. Some of this may just be a refresher, but I've found often we need to be reminded more than we need to learn something new. And so no matter what, the concepts in here are going to be useful for you on your journey because another rep of learning them, that's good. And if this is your first time hearing it, that's awesome. You're going to need to get more reps after this, though, because we rarely learn something on the first listen. Sometimes, but not usually. So without further ado, I present to you a new Guild member meeting. But before we switch over to the new Guild member meeting, I just want to let you know the Guild doors are getting ready to open soon. I don't have an exact date for you yet, but I will soon. And if you want to be sure to be notified the moment the Guild doors open again, head on over to theguildofchampions.com. You can get your name placed on the wait list, and I will specifically email you to make sure that you're aware of when the doors open next so that you can come join the Guild. And if you want to learn a little bit more about the Guild, head on over to theguildofchampions.com. All right, now, without further ado, I present to you the Guild meeting. But as we're continuing your introduction into the Guild, and into your weight loss journey and doing things the way we are here, you've probably already seen there's no clear path. And the reason why there's no clear path is because there isn't one. I mean, it's because it's not there, because it doesn't exist. It's not like I had it and threw it out the door. It just wasn't there. And there's something I started telling people when I first started coaching. When I first started coaching 101, I don't have it with me, but I had a journal. I love journals. Moleskin ones are my favorite. And I had a journal where I wrote down my strategy. I wrote it all down, what I did. And I said, look, I could take this strategy worked great for me, and I could give it to you. I lost 125 pounds of strategy. Now I've been keeping it off with this strategy. I could make it and give it to you, but you know what? It wouldn't work. Would never, ever work for you. Because my strategy was totally and completely tailored to me, my life, to my interests, to my disinterests, to the logistics of how my situation is. And not only that, it varied. What I did in the first 6 months didn't match months 6 through 12. And what I did in months 6 through 12 didn't match 12 through 18. And 18 to 24 didn't match either. And 24 to 26 didn't match. And the years since I've lost the weight, my strategy has continued to evolve. So that strategy that I had in that book at the time wouldn't work for me even now. Even today, if I took that same book and gave it to myself, it wouldn't work. Even if I gained weight back, that book wouldn't work, because that book had all the solutions to the problems I had at the time. That many of them I don't have anymore. I have different problems. I have yet to figure out how to live life without problems. I haven't figured it out yet. One of the things that'll help recontextualize this, I hope for all of you for weight loss, is to stop thinking of what you're doing in terms of losing weight. Think of it in terms of you're managing your weight. Weight management is what you're going to keep doing forever. Weight loss is what you're just going to do for a little period of time. You gained weight not because you were bad at weight loss. You gained weight because you were bad at weight management. Sketch that? You get into debt because you're bad at managing your finances. That's not how you get out of debt. That's a different project. I mean, yes, you need to manage your finances, but it's a different project. So, do you need to lose weight, all of you? Yeah, sure. But is that what you're here to learn how to do? That's what you were here to learn how to do. You're going to learn how to do that only because weight loss is a financial management. Sorry, weight management. I tend to mix the two in my head so much because you find they're the same. You are never done managing your money, are you? You manage it to more intensity some months, less intensity others. Depends on what you got going on. Maybe you're saving for a vacation, right? And you want to squeeze some more money out of your income, right? To divert to a vacation fund. So you manage what you're doing a little bit more so that you can have a little extra. Maybe things are good, right? You don't got a lot extra, and you're just gonna you want to take the wife out on a nice date, treat the kids to something, or you got to get new shoes all around there. It's like, yeah, you just let them go, but you're managing the needs. The same is true for your body. Going on vacation, manage your weight. Life about to get stressful at work, got to manage your weight. About to have a surgery, you need to manage your weight. You have to manage your weight through it all, or you're going to get fat because the body it's in this current era of life, it's easy to gain weight. It has never been easy in the history of humanity to become 300 pounds than today. Today is literally the easiest it has ever been to become 300 pounds. Tomorrow will be even easier. The day after that will be even easier. I don't know how long that trend is going to continue. Maybe one day it won't continue, but it's going to continue for the foreseeable future. It is easy to gain weight. Ultra processed foods don't metabolize in your system the same way as food, chicken and rice. I'm not saying you need to eat chicken and rice, but that's going to metabolize different than chicken and rice from an ultra processed thing. It's not the same, even though it's chicken and rice. Right? Food, calories, they have never been more easily accessible than now, ever. Most of our food is manufactured by the same handful of megacorporations. There's only a small handful of megacorporations that produce most of our food, which is crazy to think about. It's an incredible thing. But here's the thing that's happened. Because of that, we are competing against the world's most advanced, knowledgeable, and competent food scientists that have ever existed in the history of our humanity. No one has ever been more knowledgeable about making hyper palatable, super craving foods than right now. They have technologies available to them that didn't exist 50 years ago. To make foods, gotta have them good. To get you addicted to a food. You're not addicted, but it gets you addicted, so to speak. Right? You get hooked on it. You want to keep having it. It's just you take a bite, like, I need another one. I need another one. And then not only that, as a society, several years ago, we had this little movement that started out as actually a really good thing, but there were two movements: fat acceptance and healthy at every size. Started out as good things. These were good, important things because people that were big were hating themselves. They were feeling such deep, terrible shame because of their body. We needed to fix that. That needed to get fixed. Somewhere it turned into, it's cool to be 350 pounds. It's totally fine. I don't need to change this at all. It's like, yes, that's a problem. There's not a lot of fat old people. If you don't want to be old, then cool, do it. But if you want to be old and fat don't usually go together. And when I say old, I mean over 70, right? There's not a lot of them. And those that are, their life is confined to a chair, usually. I don't want that. I don't want any part of that. And I don't want you to have any part of that. So it's never been easier to gain weight. Not only that, because of the healthy at every size and the fat acceptance, we made it societally normal to overconsume foods for our emotions. We made it normal. It becomes a funny joke with your buddies. Ooh, I'm eating my feelings. Me and my friends used to go joke. Oh, I had a stressful day. I'm stress eating last night. Man, I just stress ate an entire bucket of popcorn last night at the movies. I'd joke. Eating my feels was one of my favorite phrases. I thought it was funny. And you know what I did? I only said these phrases to people that were friendly to those phrases, that would reciprocate, that would accept it, that would normalize it, because I didn't want to feel bad about what I was doing. I didn't want to feel bad about the amount of food I was eating. Come to find out, if somebody next to you is doing it too, you don't feel that bad, because if they look like they're okay with it, it gives you social permission to act like you're okay with it. And if you act like you're okay with it long enough, you eventually will be okay with it. Man,
It's almost like, can you ever fix this? Is this changeable? It is. But you got to accept the reality of the playing field. You can't fight it. You can't. You're fighting against a battle that is hard. Not only that, to make it worse, to add insult to injury, there's a little fun thing I learned. I didn't learn this till I'd almost lost all my weight. I was like, what the fuck? Really? No one told me this. When you have spent a majority of your life overweight and then you lose your weight, you literally cannot eat the same amount of calories as a person that is the exact same size as you that never gained the weight. So my brother and I are not that different in size. He's an inch taller than me and got about 10 pounds on me, right? So in reality, we should be able to eat about the same. We can't. He can easily eat 300 to 400 calories more than me a day and not gain weight. That's pretty well documented, right? When you have, and I'm like, what? I didn't know. I didn't know when I was getting big that no, I cannot get skinny and then it be as if it never happened, minus some loose skin. I can't do that. I have actually fucked myself a little bit. And again, I'm going to make this all happy. I know right now I'm sort of bringing it down, but like we got to understand the playing field of where we're at. We have to understand this. And I figured this out in the beginning and it helped. Not only that, your body is predisposed to weight regain because the fat cells don't leave, they just empty and they're left in your body ready to be refilled. Your body has one less step to do. It doesn't have to create new cells, it utilizes the old ones. Now you can get them cut off and slowly over time, your body will reabsorb some of them, but not enough to make a difference. Stinks. It stinks. But here's why we got to talk about this. Here's why I got to kind of paint this picture. Because if the only way you get to Thinville is to diet, you're just going to go right back to where you were before. Because all of these reasons for why you gained weight aren't fixed because you go on a diet. They don't get fixed because you count your calories. They don't get fixed because you cut out food groups or you cut out foods or you exercise to the nth degree. If you only did it to lose weight, when you stop losing weight, what happens? So when I first started teaching, I came up with an analogy, a way of describing this to people of what are we doing and where's the problem? Because if you can conceptualize and put dieting in its right place, you can see how you do diet. You just do it with the right headspace. Imagine you're in a boat rowing across a big body of water and you look down at the bottom of the boat and you see water. So you just say, I need a bucket, and you bucket the water out. And then you keep rowing. And of course, what happens? The water comes back. So you bucket the water out and you keep rowing. Water comes back. So this time you let the water go higher. And then you're like, I need a bigger bucket. So you go find a bigger bucket. And you bucket the water out. More water, no problem. Bigger bucket, better diet, right? More aggressive diet. Then you get an even bigger bucket. Then you get an even bigger bucket. But no matter how big a bucket you get, the water still keeps coming back. And so what a lot of people do is they think, well, if I get a big enough bucket or install a pump, I can just keep letting the water in and I'll pump it out the other end. The problem is what happens when one thing goes wrong? The water gets in and then it doesn't get out and then you sink. You get thrown off track. It gets too far out of control, right? Oh, it's only 10 pounds. It's no big deal. It's only 10 pounds. Oh, you know what? It's no problem. It's only 12 pounds. It's no big deal. I'll take care of it next month. I got a really busy month. It's no big deal. It's only 15 pounds. It's no problem. I said I'd take care of it this month, but I got a little busy. Didn't know. It's only 18 pounds. It's not a problem. You just kind of, it's not a problem. 2, 3, 4, 5. Till the next thing you know, you wake up, you're like, the fuck? When did I get 60 pounds overweight? This is too big of a problem. No, I can't deal with this. I can't even think about it. Right. And then you look up again, now you're 100 pounds overweight. Isn't that what happens? Isn't that the story for some of us? It's the story for me. I know it's the story for some of you. You've got to pause at some point and find the holes in your boat. If you don't plug the holes in your boat, it doesn't matter how good your bucket is. The water's going to keep coming back. The water is body fat. The buckets are diets. The holes is the bullshit eating that you didn't need. Here's a truth. We all got fat because we ate when we didn't need to too often. Plain and simple. It's not carbs. It's not sugar. It's not the diet industry. It's we ate more often than we needed to, or more than we needed to too often. It's okay to do it some. I do it some, and I've been maintaining my weight. It's fine. It is not okay when you do it all the time unless you want to be fat. If you want to be fat, then it's fine. You can do it. But if you want to be thin and you want to live a long time, you got to cut that shit out. but it's hard. What? Right? But here's the thing I noticed with people. And I'm curious if any of you have felt this pattern with you. I wake up and it feels so good. Breakfast is right on par. I'm doing good by lunch, afternoon, a little snack, but I'm doing okay. You get to dinner, it's a little higher. I mean, I'm not going to track so much. I'm not going to weigh. I'm just going to put it on there. And then by about 7 o'clock, brakes are off. Who the fuck cares? It's snack time. Right? It's the evening. I had a hard day. I'll fix this tomorrow. You know what? When I committed, morning me didn't understand how stressful it was going to be when morning me committed me to eating such a small amount of food in the evening. Morning me can fuck off. I'm going to eat this food. Right? Isn't that what happens? We start off so good. And then by the time we get to the end, it's all gone. It's all gone. That's a hole in the boat. But what is that hole? A lot of people, they say, like, well, I just don't have enough willpower. That's the problem. It's my willpower. Okay, maybe. Let's talk about willpower for a second. Have any of you ever blamed your willpower? Willpower is a finite resource. It's not limitless. It's the equivalent to a can of a drink. It can hold what it can hold, but it's renewable. You can get more, but you can only have so much. And so what happens is you stock up your willpower and then you deplete it so that by the time you get later in the day, it's a little harder. Sometimes you refer to this as executive function. I have higher mental faculties. I'm a little bit more in control. By the time we get to the end of the day, my willpower motivation has just been depleted all day long from things chipping away at it. So if I'm going to keep it together in the evenings, if you can't keep it together in the evenings, you're not going to make it. I'm just going to be clear. You have to figure out how to keep it together in the evenings. And I know damn well that most of you are like the rest of us. Most of the food got in the evening time. Not all of it, but a lot of it. And not for all of you, but for most of you. So you got to figure it out. So what a lot of people do, they're like, all right, I hear Chris, I got to get a control of my evening snacking. We'll just take all the food out of the house. That'll solve it. I have no food in the house. And it works for a while. And then finally, like, DoorDash, go grocery shopping, leave. The problem is you're a grown-ass adult with debit card and keys. So the fact that no food's in the house is a totally solvable obstacle. Very easily solvable. Remember what I said? It has never been easier to get food and to get calories than it is now. So despite you getting out of the house, society has made it just painfully easy to get food. Painfully easy. So a lot of people, they try to put friction in the evenings. And don't get me wrong, you should put friction around your food in your home to slow you down, right? Just to get you to fully pause and reflect and decide what you want to do and then proceed, hopefully. But that's not getting to the root cause. So let's picture this. I gained weight because too much food got into my body. More food than I needed got into my body. A lot of food is getting in, not during the daytime, because I tend to do okay-ish during the daytime. And if I have a plan, I usually do really well. And it tends to fall apart afternoon, evenings. And so I try to just control everything in the afternoon, evenings, because that's where the problem is. And a lot of people try that and it doesn't work. Now, some of you, you're like, Chris, you're not describing me. Pretend I do, because the framework that I'm building to it applies. So just go with me on the journey. Even if this doesn't quite apply, really try to hang on to me with this in case it does. So if it's not evening snacking, if you're finding you tend to lose it at lunch every day, then just replace evening snacking with lunch. If you tend to do good Monday through Thursday, but Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it's a total shit show, then just say weekends, right? Just replace it in your mind with whatever. But for the sake of conversation, I'm going to talk about evenings because it's the most common. And so people think the problem is the evening eating. So I need to put all my work, all my attention, all my effort in solving the evening. And it's really frustrating when that doesn't work, isn't it? It only works for short bursts. It doesn't work for good. We got to do something. Root cause analysis. We have to find the problem and then get deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper until we find the root cause. We have our boat, the water is getting in and we're bucketing it out. What's the problem? There's water in the boat and it needs to get out. Bucketing the water is dealing with the symptom. The hole in the boat is the root cause of the need to bucket the water out. If I have a headache and I take an aspirin, I just covered up the symptom of the headache. I did not fix the cause of the headache. If I have a fever and I take some Tylenol to bring the fever down, I didn't address the cause of the fever. I just addressed the symptom. Diets address symptoms, not causes. So let's come back to what I was saying earlier. Evening snacking, evening eating, evening dinner time, whatever. We think this is the problem. So I put all my effort there. Let's do a root cause analysis. The evening bullshit eating is a symptom. It's a symptom. It's not the actual problem. You have to go deeper. So what did I say earlier? Why does it tend to fall apart in the evenings? Lots of reasons, but one of them is a reduction in executive function, a reduction in willpower, a reduction in mental and emotional control. Because during the day, it's constantly being picked at. So by the time you get to the evenings, you have nothing left. So many people, the only thing that gets them through the next day is knowing at the end of the day, I'm going to get to have my TV, social media, and food time. That's the only thing that gets me through the day at times in my life. It's amazing how many people I talk to in this world with what we do with weight loss. Y'all, a much greater, I don't know what the actual percentage is, but it is over 50% of y'all fucking hate your jobs. You don't like it. You like it, but you don't like what it's doing to you. You don't like the costs that it has on your life. You don't like that you're doing this when you'd rather be doing something else. Not all of you. Some of you love your job. Your job's not the problem. For a large percentage of you, your relationship sucks. It sucked before you made it official. It sucks the whole time. It sucks now, and it's gonna suck in the future. It sucks. And that relationship is grating at you. Not all of you. Some of you have a wonderful relationship. You're with a wonderful person. Some of you, your financial situation is abysmal. You are underpaid and you can't get a handle of your spending. And so you're drowning in debt and it grates at you. Not all of you. Some of you, your finances are just fine. You're crushing the financial game. For some of you, you have trauma from your past. A large percentage of people in the guild do. Why? Because trauma and weight gain go hand in hand a lot of times. Why? Because it's not weight gain and trauma that go hand in hand. It's trauma and coping mechanisms go hand in hand. A person who's gone through a lot of trauma needs probably more than the average person on coping mechanisms. And food is a mighty fine vice. Remember what I said earlier, when we made it socially acceptable to use food as a drug to soothe our troubled heart. You see, what all of this is called is emotional eating. This is the behavioral stuff. Weight management is behavioral. You have to manage your behaviors. You have to change. You have to take all of these things that chip away at your willpower, at your executive function, and you need to make that not happen. You have to fix that. If you don't fix that, you're not likely to keep the weight off, because these things are part of the root cause. I get stressed, I stress eat, I end up eating when I don't need to eat, I gain weight. But we want to lose weight, right? It's like, all right, Chris, I hear you. Sure. I should deal with the reasons why I gain the weight. I should turn and face my problems, even though I really don't want to. They're probably fine. I could probably work through them, leave them as is. Maybe I'll just find a different thing than food, but I'm going to leave this intact. So a lot of people go on a fun side quest of, no, Chris, I'm going to leave all my problems untouched, and I'm going to attempt to just swap food out with something else. I'll do a transfer addiction, right? But that something else usually isn't as good as the food, because we've all had a taste of it. You've wired your brain for it. It works. Works good. Do you know why I solved my problems with Cheez-Its? Because it worked. Why do heroin addicts do heroin? Because it works. It's the stopping that's the problem. They keep doing it because it keeps giving them the reward they want. You just got to keep ramping it up, right? Think of us with food. Didn't you ever notice you just had to keep ramping it up? You just had to keep dialing up the flavors and the volumes and the intensities and the experiences. And then when the food wasn't enough, you have to take the food and pair it with another activity. Make it even better, right? It became our drug. Once you've had a taste of it, a psychological taste, it becomes a craving. Will it go away? 6 years, it's less, not gone. I'll tell you when it leaves my life, but so far it hasn't left my life. Still there. It's been 6 years. It is less though, way less, but it's still there. That monster's just hiding below the surface, waiting for me to let my guard down, and then it can show up. I know. The old emotional leader in me didn't die. He's there. He's just, managing himself. Emotional eating will wreck up your weight loss goals, desires, dreams more than anything else, but you won't call it that. You'll say, I don't know why I can't track my calories for more than a day. I don't know why I did this. I don't know why I did that. Wherever you keep saying, I don't know, it's probably emotional eating. It's probably something that you need to deal with that you don't want to deal with. So it's easier to say it's whatever. I don't know. It's whatever. It's just dismiss it. because I don't want to look at it. If you don't change your baseline all the time behaviors, dieting is just going to give you a temporary break from being big. I, at 34, one day woke up and realized I am fucking tired of just taking breaks from being fat. I want to stay not fat. And you know who's the common denominator in every diet I've ever tried in my entire life? Me. I'm the common denominator. Yes. Did these diets not work? Yes. But I was the common denominator. I didn't make it work. I didn't figure it out. I kept giving up. So on my final journey, I decided to do something. This is the Chris Terrell plan, starter plan. Does not work for everybody, but it works for many. And it's a good return to home base if you're ever struggling. So I'm there at the very beginning of my journey, not sure what to do. I've been challenged by my brother-in-law to move for 20 minutes, 3 times a week, which seemed insultingly small. But I was like, but I'm currently moving none times a week for none minutes. So this is a big improvement. And I've been batting a perfect record of none times a week for none minutes for like years. So, damn it, I had to ruin my streak of perfect no workouts. Damn it. And so I broke my streak and I worked out. And I remember thinking, like, I felt good about myself. I remember feeling like, just doesn't feel like I did much, but I definitely did not do this before. So that's good. I think I want to lose some weight though. I had enough diet experience in my past to know that swimming in the pool 20 minutes 3 times a week was not going to be enough to get the job done. Like, I knew that. I had no illusion that that was going to somehow solve anything. But I knew it was a good piece, as an element, as a grain of sand, so to speak. And I'm like, well, I got to do something with food. Like, I'm aware that weight loss is mostly a fork issue, right? Becoming thin largely just comes down to food most of the time. Movement's a component, but once you get a handle of it, it just kind of tends to work. Movement tends to be the thing we all putz around and talk about and think is the problem, so we can avoid looking at the food. It becomes the big, great distraction. But it's the food. And I was like, I cannot give up bread again. I'm not going to do it. I'm just not. If I have to give up bread to be thin, I will just be fat. I'm not doing that anymore. Because it doesn't work. I always quit. And then I had this little simple thing. I just thought, but skinny people eat bread. So I'm like, well, I'll start eating healthier then. And I was like, skinny people eat really unhealthy. Shit's in front of them. Okay. Well, what am I supposed to eat? And I'm just like thinking of all these different diets that I've ever done in the past. I did a shakes diet. I'm like, well, I am not going back on a shakes diet. I am not doing that. 800 calories a day was the most miserable I've ever been. I've never fantasized about food more than then. It was miserable. I mean, yeah, I was getting thin and like, ooh, this is great, Chris. How's that weight melting off you? Turns out when you don't eat anything, you lose weight. Go figure. So I'm just sitting here. And I'm like, I never felt more hopeless about losing weight than I did in this moment, because I was like, I'm looking at all the diets that worked, and I was not willing to do any of them. If it was this diet or be fat, the answer was, I'm going to be fat. Plain and simple. I will not do these again. But I was committed to figuring this out. I'm like, I'm going to do a root cause analysis. I'm looking at skinny people. I'm looking at what do I got to do? And I'm just like, let's look at all the diets and let's reframe them. Everything I've ever done in the past is not a failure now. Now it's a way not to lose weight. I call it the Edison approach. Well, you know the old adage, Thomas Edison came up with 9,999 ways not to make a light bulb. I have no idea if that's true or not, but it's a cool story. And so I'm like, okay, great. I have tested for 20 years lots of different approaches to losing weight, and I know what not to do. There's a lot I haven't tested, but there's a lot of things. But here's the thing I have to think of. I bet Thomas Edison didn't start from scratch every time he did the next version of the light bulb. He might sometimes, but I'll bet sometimes he iterated. He took the last failed version and made a little tweak, and then made another little tweak, and then made another little tweak, and then iterated some other version until eventually he found the one, right? And I started thinking in my life, I'm like, well, a lot of times it really is an iterative process. It's not that the past isn't valid. It's just I can't do it that way. There's elements that worked. And so I sat there and I thought about it. I'm like, well, what made all these diets work? And I was like, well, the one thing they all shared, all of them, is I ate less than I wanted to. Every single one of them resulted in me eating less than I wanted to. Might be different things. Some required me to eat a lot less than I wanted to, but ultimately I was eating less than I wanted to. So I was like, well, I mean, that makes sense, right? I mean, it makes sense. It's like, but how do I do that? And then for whatever reason, I don't know where this idea came to me. I have no idea. It just was there in my head. There's this phrase that I heard it in my own voice. I realized I said this all the time, regularly. I'm not hungry, but I could eat. I started thinking about it countless times. My spouse at the time was like, "Do you want to eat? You want dinner?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm not hungry, but I could eat." Why? Why would I say no? My spouse asked. It's perfectly reasonable to go get dinner with, right? But I wasn't hungry. You want to go? Friend call. You want to go get some apps and drinks? I'm not hungry, but yeah, that sounds fun. Coworker calls me. Hey, want to go get lunch? I'm not hungry, but I could eat. I said it all the time, and I just kind of sat there and thought about that. And I was like, I don't say this occasionally. Like this is a weekly say. At some point in the week, I say it multiple times a week, usually, because I'm always looking for an excuse to eat. I didn't need much of one. I mean, I just had to catch a whiff of something. There's that. Why eating? Because I smelled something tasty. I mean, do you need more of a reason than that? Donuts, hello. It's like, that's where I was. I was like, well, what if I just stopped doing that? What if I just said, I will eat when I'm ready to eat, and I'm going to stop letting anybody else have a vote, no matter who they are. I will eat when I'm ready. Full disclosure, this did require me to almost instantly give up going out to eat lunch with my coworkers. Like overnight, I kind of stopped doing that. I did it some, but not much. I used to do it every day. Every day, I went and wrangled up my eating buddies, or they wrangled up me, and me and my eating buddies would go gorge ourselves at lunch together. Because remember what I said, if you and your buddies, it's normal, you don't feel bad doing it, even though you're both fat. So I had to give it up. I started going to different places. And then I thought of something else. The me on the other end of this journey is probably going to eat less food than I do now. That's what I thought in the beginning. I was like, I don't know what the me on the other end of the journey is going to eat, but I'm willing to bet whatever he eats, it's noticeably less than what I eat. I want to give you all a little spoiler because, hey, I'm the guy on the other side. He was right. I eat a lot less of all the same stuff than he did across the board all the time. If you take all the calories that I eat in a month and add them up, it is a smaller number than what I ate in the past 100% of the months. If I eat as much as I used to eat, I will get that big. So I was right. But let's rewind the clock back to where I was. I decided I will eat when I am sure I'm hungry. When I am sure I'm hungry, now I will go eat. What I didn't understand at the time that I later learned was what I had done is I just drew a line in the sand. Said, you do not cross that line till hunger is there. Period. End of story. No matter what, there is no exceptions. No one gives me a pass for it. There's no such thing as a special occasion that allows me to do this. It is 100% of the time. Now I'm going to let everybody know that rigidity did not persist the whole journey. That rigidity persisted for only several months. Then there was an easing back on it. We're not going to talk about that, but it was months, like 4 of if I'm not hungry, I don't eat. End of story, period. But I did. I did eat when I wasn't hungry several times. And it was in here that my first awareness of the problem of my emotional eating began to show up. Like I began to become aware that I think I may be eating more than I think I am. And I may actually need substantially less food than I think I do. Y'all, it was like half. Like I could eat half of what I ate before and feel completely satisfied. And my brain struggled to accept that. I mean, struggled. You're being an eating disorder, dude. You can't do this. And I'd go out and eat with my skinny coworkers, and we'd order the same thing. They don't have an eating disorder. How come I have an eating disorder? It's because my old fat boy was like, this is against the rules. It's only okay if somebody else tells you to do it, but I'm telling myself to do it. This isn't okay. This is a disorder. Y'all, I thought I had an eating disorder for like 6 damn months, off and on, because my brain would regularly be shouting that bullshit at me. And this is where I discovered something else. Did you know just because your brain thinks a thought, that doesn't mean anything? Thoughts aren't real. They're not real. Like you can't take a thought out of your head and show it to me. You can write something. Sure, you can show me writing, but your thought is just you just have them. You just have thoughts all the time. You don't create the thoughts. The thoughts come from your mind. They're just there. And you can let them just go, that was an interesting thought, I thought. But what do we tend to do? The thought comes by with the thing is like, oh, yes, please. I'd like that. That sounds good. I want this. I'm not going to let this go. I'd like to have this. Very much would like to get one of these. Yes, one of these would be very good. You hang on to the thought. We tell ourselves a story about the thought and we trigger an emotional reaction. This is where the emotional eating mess with you because things happen and you turn to food and you don't even know because you think, oh, I'm just having a bag of chips in the afternoon. I'm hungry. But then when I really started paying attention to it and I discovered I was never hungry in the afternoons, I discovered what I actually wanted was an emotional support bag of chips. This had to get me through part 2 of the day. I needed my little boost. Come to find out, I did need the boost, but the boost didn't need to be food. It was a signal that I needed something, and I was just only solving that need with food. I didn't need food. I needed a break. So I just started doing things like going on walks, making tea, making a cup of coffee, which is way less calories than what I was getting. I just needed to do something right about 3 o'clock. I don't know if any of y'all have that. I'm one of them people. Right about 3 o'clock, my brain's like, it's bedtime, right? Like, no, brain, it's 3 o'clock. But we're going to bed soon, right, Chris? No, brain, we have a lot of day left. So, you solve it how you solve it. I use caffeine and naps. But I realized what I was doing, I was just looking for a boost to get me going. I was looking for something to distract me. Usually I've been going all day and my brain's just like, it's powering down. And sometimes all I need is I'd go for a 20-minute walk. Just go walk for 15, 20 minutes. Come back rejuvenated, energized, and ready to go. I didn't need a snack. I needed a cold drink. I needed to meet the need, but I didn't have to meet it with calories. Calories won't solve your problem. Calories will help you take care of your body's energy needs. And if your energy needs have already met, then your body will store them for later use. But if you never have a deficit, your body is storing and storing and storing and storing, and the later use never comes. And you just keep storing without ever creating a need to use the storage. So this is the hard part about weight loss is you do have to underfeed yourself. That's what you're doing. You're going to give yourself less food than your body requires. It's a little teeny meeny starving. That's what you're doing. If your dog gets big, what are you going to do if you want to make the dog get smaller? You give it less food, walk it a little more. But mostly it's just the food. It's the same for us. So for you on this journey, I want you to draw a line in the sand if you're ever struggling. If you can't seem to do anything else, you just say, line in the sand. I will not eat unless I'm hungry. Period. And every time I do, I need to understand why. Why did I do that? What drove me to do it? You're not supposed to look to the past missteps and then go, see, this is why I'm so terrible. If you're going to do that, just move on. Just move on. Don't even go back there. But if you're going to go back there and be like, okay, why did I do that? I was really stressed. Okay. Why was I really stressed? What happened that day that caused me to get really stressed? You need to identify the cause of the eat. You don't necessarily have to know what to do about it. Often you won't know what to do about it. But you'll start going, every Monday, I tend to demolish food. It's because Monday is a heavy meeting day and the meetings in the afternoon are pretty intense. That's why. I wonder if that's why. What do you do about that? I don't know. You might not be able to leave those meetings. You might not be able to get out of them. But now you've identified it at least. You're like, I get stressed and I seem to do it every Monday. Now I know. You're going to have to study yourself. You're going to have to get to know your own patterns. You're going to have to get to know your own behaviors. Because as I said earlier, weight management is behavior. It's not so much about knowledge, book knowledge. You don't need to learn about macros. Most of you will never need to track macros beyond protein to lose all your weight. You'll never need to do it. Most of you will not ever do much more than learn about protein, fiber, calories, and which foods keep you specifically full. For many of you, that's all you'll learn because that's all you're going to need. We've been so used to everybody complicating weight loss, and it is a little complicated, but they made it seem impossible. It's not. You just got to stop. You got to just stop focusing only on losing weight. Like if I could snap my fingers right now and give you your dream body right now, how long would it take before you started gaining your weight back? For many people, they're like, next week. So a day. I'd slowly start gaining it back. It's because you don't have the lifestyle, habits, routines, environment, and community and belief systems that are compatible with the dream body on the other side. And many people go, let me get the body, then I'll create the life around the body. No, it's backwards. You create the life and you just hold on to the life long enough while the body makes its slow ass way over to the life. So frustrating. So I love coming to the Tough Mudder that I'm doing this weekend. Many people coming to the Tough Mudder can't do a single, or they can only do maybe one or two obstacles. That's it. They literally physically cannot do any others. We've had some people go and all they do is just walk next to us. They don't do a single obstacle. But then they come back the next year and they do a little more. But you see, what we're doing is I'm like, no, create the life. If you're going to become the kind of person that's super active and goes on adventures on the other end, what the fuck are you waiting for? Go now. Oh, I'm too fat. No, bullshit. We don't think like that here. Your bigness has nothing to do with it. Hold on, getting a spam call. I love those. I'm back. Yes. All right. It's like your bigness has nothing to do with it. Your bigness might make it where you can't do an obstacle, but you can do some. You can come hang out with us. You can come go do the movement. You can go on walks. You create a life of movement, a life of regulating the food, a life of being intentional about your eating, and you just hold on to it while your fat body is way over here. And you just hold on to this life while your body slowly, ever so slowly. And then sometimes it's like, psych, and it goes back. And then it's like, I'm coming. I'm going to get here. I'm going to get here. Oh, what's that? I'm going to get here. What's that? No, come on, body. And eventually the body shows up. It is one of the most anticlimactic victories you will ever have in your life. It is so uneventful to hit goal weight. It's crazy because you've been holding on to this life for so long, and now your body's here, and you're like, about damn time, body. I've been waiting for you for a while. There's nothing changed. Nothing changed. Because you know the journey's not done. You just maintain now. Manage it for a different goal, a different reason. So sometimes people will come here to the guild, they'll lose a few pounds and they'll think they're doing good and then they'll bounce. If that's your plan, it's okay. I'm fine that you're doing that. Just understand I have very much engineered the guild to not be particularly useful for that. This is designed to get deep transformation because you have to change as a person. But I cannot tell you what to change into. That's not my job, nor should it ever be. It is not anybody else's job to tell you what your life should be, but you. What I am doing is attempting to give you an excuse and the opportunity and resources that you can pick up and use. And one of my objectives is to give you an endless source of ideas, of new ways of thinking, of ways of considering. I'm happy to at times to be a strategist with you in your corner and help you with some direct one-on-one work when we can. But largely, you need to do this yourself. Many of us don't want to, but I don't know what to tell you because you got to. That's just a requirement. You've got to decide what your eating is going to look like tomorrow. No one else. You've got to be the one to figure out how you get yourself to go for a walk today after work when you normally just come home, sit down in the chair, and that's where you stay till you go to bed. You have to figure it out. When you lose it and you kind of really slip into it for 3 days, you have to figure out how to get yourself up. And you're unlikely to nail it every time. It's going to be trial and error. But the cool thing is, the further you get in this journey, it gets easier and it gets easier and it gets easier. And because of the way I designed the guild, I expect I'm going to have you for a year or two, which is why I priced it the way I priced it. We're going to change you from the inside out, but you're going to do it. You're going to go in and you're going to decide how you want to change. And it's going to take 2 years just to get to graduation of high school, metaphorically speaking. You ain't done. At that point, you can stay, you can go, do whatever you'd like. So some people will leave the guild due to financial things. I just want to be perfectly clear. I'm going to be very blunt. If you can't afford the guild, you haven't reduced your food. It's $70 a month. Many of y'all will blow that on a dinner for a special occasion when you've already had all the food you need for a day. Many of you will blow that on three or four desserts for the month. You will blow the equivalent of the guild membership dues. Okay? So I just want to be clear. It's never about finances, okay? Because if it truly is, you need to go earn more money. And I know it's like, Chris, that was awfully rude to say to a bunch of people, you need to go earn more money. No, because if your money is stressing you out and causing you to overeat, it's directly connected to the mission at hand. If money is stressing you out and causing you to emotionally eat, I'm going to talk about it because it's connected to weight loss. All weight loss is the signal that we got to turn and work on something. And I'm attempting to get you to turn and work on whatever it is you need to turn and work on. I don't know what it is. Some of it is going to be external and a lot of it is going to be internal. You got to go inside and change. Some of you are going to have to change your environment. Like as in like literally rearrange it or maybe even move. Some of you, the cost of success is going to require moving. You may not be willing to pay it. That's fine. And so you may have to find another path. Some of you are going to have to get a new job. The only way for you to be successful is you got to quit your job, go get another job that is less stressful or one that pays you what you're worth so that you can move forward. Some of you, the price of success is your relationship. That's what it's going to cost you. Some of you, the price of success is going to be a friendship. Some of you, the price of success is going to be activities that you do every day after work. Some of you, it's going to be things that you don't want to give up. It could be hobbies, activities that you've always enjoyed. You don't have to give everything up now. A lot of things you don't have to give up. A lot of things you just have to modify. But you do indeed need to modify or give up many things. But one of the things you're going to have to give up for good is mindlessly approaching food all the time. That's not normal people eating. So many people say, I wish I could just eat normal. I wish I could just not pay attention to anything with food and I just wouldn't gain weight. Most people can't do that. These naturally skinny people you see, if you go sit down and talk with them, of which I have talked to many, many, many skinny people to ask them, I'm in the thousands at this point. I am telling you, the majority of them are very aware of what they're doing to control their weight. I've talked to people that I'm like, hey, how do you control your weight? They're like, oh, I get on the scale every day. I'm like, I thought that's something only fat people did. You get on the scale every day? Yeah. What do you do when it goes up? Nothing. Why do you get on the scale every day? I don't understand. I'm in the beginning of my journey. This is just not computing. Wait, you get on the scale every day, it goes up, and you do nothing? What do you do next day? I get on it. Okay, do you ever make any changes based off the scale? It goes, oh yeah. If I see it's been up 5-10 pounds for many weeks, yeah, I just start cutting my lunches in half. I start having soups and salads for lunch every day. Like, for how long do you do that? He goes, till the scale gets back where I want it. It's like, that's it? Yeah. He had an intentional plan. Another person I talked to, how do you manage your weight? Do you get on the scale? Never. How do you stay the same weight? She said, I have fat pants and skinny pants. If I've been wearing my fat pants for more than a week, I cut out some food out of my life. That's it? Yeah. You really don't get on the scale? No, I just use my clothes. What? What do you mean? You're skinny. You're natural. You've been skinny your whole life. You mean you pay attention? Or to my brother. My brother gave me one of my favorite ones. I'm like, because he doesn't have a scale. He almost never gets on. He usually has no idea what he weighs, which is infuriating when I want to compare myself to him. Because I'm like, how much do you weigh? I'm trying to compare. He does what he calls the pinch test. He's like, if I pinch and I'm getting too much fat, I stop getting so many snacks and I go work out harder. What I'm telling you is, for most people, if they just do what you did, which is not pay attention all the time for long stretches of time, I mean months and years, they'll get fat. That's not what skinny people usually do. There's usually intentionality of some kind, but the intentionality varies. All different ways of doing it. I've even found a lot of skinny people, they do still emotionally eat. But you know what I noticed? It's not their first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh line of defense against stress. It's one of many. It's in the mix with a whole bunch of other coping strategies. And when it starts getting utilized too much, that's when it creates the weight gain. So you might actually still have some emotional eating. There was a day as last year, I remember this is funny. I had a problem, something at work or at home I was like trying to solve, and I was really, really stressed about it. And Candace and I were talking about it. And I walked over to the snack drawer and I pull out a fiber bar. It's like 70 calories. And I looked at it and I walked to her and I says, I know I'm about to emotionally eat this and I don't care. And I said, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to think about my problems and I'm going to get up and go solve them when this thing is done. And I opened the wrapper. I sat there on a bench and I did nothing but just eat this brownie and think about my problem. And I'm like, I know what I'm going to do. And I got up and I went and dealt with it. I don't have any problems with that. It was 70 calories and I stopped and I thought about what I was doing, or what I was going to do is I enjoyed my fiber brownie. And then I walked away and I did it. It's fine. It's not fine if I do that all the time. And that would not have been fine if I said, I'm going to solve my problem, but I'm going to go make a 1,500 calorie bowl of ice cream. and I'm going to enjoy this. And then I'll go deal with my problem. It was 70 calories. Not going to make a big difference. So the only thing that is going to change forever and for always is never caring about food ever for a long period of time. That's a permanent change. That's going to stick. That's going to persist. And the answer isn't leave all the stress intact and then try to find other coping mechanisms. The answer is try to find other coping mechanisms and remove the sources of stress as best you can. You need to do both. You got to do both. If you don't do both and you just diet and you just cut some calories and you lose weight and think you fixed something, you're going to get a rude awakening at some point. And I've seen this rude awakening happen to many people in the guild. Many. Just because you lost weight doesn't mean anything that you've changed, that you've fixed the problem. Just because you bucketed the water out of the boat, that doesn't mean you fixed the hole in the boat. We'll teach you how to work through this. We'll teach you how to get to the other end. This journey is going to have ups and downs. If you, hopefully many of you have had a chance to see the Success Mountain lesson. If not, give it a watch. It's just 15 minutes, but the journey is going to be up and down, up and down, up and down the entire way to the end. Success is not a straight line. Success is not a slope. It's not a hockey stick. Success starts off like this and it gets all squiggly. And success looks like this, and then you make it. It is a hot mess all the way there. It's fun. It's exciting. You learn a ton about yourself. If you let go of needing the scale to move every week and just say, I want it to move every few weeks, this is going to be so much easier. If you focus on behaviors, your behaviors, and how to get them to change, and you get intensely focused on identifying problematic behaviors, finding the underlying cause of it, and then changing that, your life will change. We'll teach you how to do it. It's going to take time, but you'll learn. You're going to diet. You're going to go on diets. You're going to go on many diets between now and the end of this journey. Most of them will be custom made by you. They'll be bespoke. But these are just to serve getting the weight of your body. That's it. It is bucketing water out of the boat, which is only half the problem. The other half is the water got in the boat. And the in the boat is food that you are eating that you don't need. And you won't always know what that is. So the easiest line in the sand, if you are sure you're hungry, eat. If you are not sure, wait until you are sure. It's that simple. When in doubt, wait it out. If you are unsure if you should eat or not, wait until you are. If you're like, well, maybe I'm kind of hungry. Nope, don't eat. Oh, but my husband wanted me to go eat and I'm going to get hungry later. Fine. Then you're going to wait until you're hungry later. Hope you can talk your husband into waiting. What? I might have to go out and not eat with them? Yeah. Well, that would be weird. It wouldn't. Only weird to you because it's new. It's not actually weird. I did it. I still do it. I will go out to eat with people and not eat. I don't do it often because I discovered something. You can manage when you get hungry. If you want to know a little trick, if you want to get hungry at 5 o'clock at dinner, don't eat at 3. If you know you're going to want to eat dinner with your husband, what's the phrase a lot of our parents, well, maybe not our parents, because our parents probably for many of us, like, you need to eat everything. But what's a lot of parents say? You don't want to spoil your dinner. Many of us, what do? Mom told me I can't spoil my dinner. Well, screw you, Mom. I'm spoiling my dinner and I'm having dinner. They both fit. Why would I pick between the spicy chicken sandwich and the regular chicken sandwich when I could have both chicken sandwiches? They both fit. I mean, why would I do that? Why would I choose between burger and nuggies? They both fit. Why would I choose between nuggies, fries, and burger? They all three fit. Why would I choose? Why would I choose between nuggies, fries, burger, milkshake? They all fit. You got to draw the line in the sand. You control what you eat and when you eat. You're going to have to say no to some things, and that's okay. It's just fine. It's just food. You're going to get food. Every time you eat, you get hungry. It ends with you eating. Really think about that. Every time you get hungry, it ends with you eating. Hunger's not bad. So if you want to be hungry at 5, you don't need to be worried that you're going to get hungry at 4:45. You won't die in 15 minutes. And if you want to make sure you're hungry at 5, don't eat a lunch so damn big that you're not hungry at 5. But if you do eat a big ass lunch and it's 5 o'clock and you're not hungry and you were supposed to have dinner, guess you ain't eating. You should have thought of that when you ate such a big ass lunch. If you don't care, then who cares? Like, who cares? If you skip dinner, great, skip dinner, right? There's not an optimal schedule to eat. So, all right, we're going to wrap up here, everybody. I'm going to head on to Atlanta. I want you to just really think about what I talked about here today. We got the recording of this. You might listen to this one back. I want you to lose weight. I do. But I want you to solve why you've been gaining it in the first place. You don't have any homework for the week because we're past homework days. Homework is whatever you make. You're not going to assignment your way to success. The reality is weight loss is boring as hell. So boring. The marathon in the middle phase is like, what am I doing? The same thing you've been doing for the last 23 weeks. Just making it easier. So it really is, you just find something that works and then you just do it. The phrase is minimum effective dose. Now there's all sorts of dialing it in because people need different things at different reasons. So if you're looking for homework, if you need something to do, the on-ramp is the perfect place to start. It'll give you some very structured assignments that you can do. But the biggest thing is you got to get a handle of your strategy. Now I've got some new tools coming out that I've been working on. I introduced some of them on Hot Seat Coaching yesterday, where the majority of people got to see them. So I'm working on some things that'll give you building blocks, so to speak, to make it easier to craft a strategy. Something I've just been learning through working with people, working with people now for years doing this. But if you're not sure what to do, if you ever like wake up in a day and you're like, I don't know what to do, and I don't feel like I got much in me, make it a hunger day. I will not eat until I'm hungry. Period. End of story. No matter what. No snacks, no treats, no meals. If it's got calories in it, it doesn't go in unless I'm hungry. Now, full disclosure, if you do a little special carve out for like 100 calories of coffee throughout the day, I don't think anybody's going to be bothered by that. Personally, that's what I do. I always gave myself 100 calories of coffee creamer for the day that I can have whenever I want because coffee. So have a great day, everybody. Hope to see you all next week. See you in guild meetings. I think a couple of y'all coming to Atlanta, so I'll see you in Atlanta. And the rest of you, I will see you in a guild meeting. Talk to you later. Have a great day, everybody.